How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the channel. My name's Garrett, and today I wanted to talk about a tool that I have been using over the past couple of months that I believe can be useful for you as well. And that tool is the ZO1000 wireless transmitter system from Shimbol. Now, before we get too far into things, I do want to let you know that Shimbol have not paid me a dime to say anything good or bad about this system, and they've been patiently waiting while I put it through its paces in situations that I find myself in for video. The first situation is with my production company where we shoot a lot of corporate interviews and testimonials, and the second situation is YouTube talking head videos like this one right here. With that, my goal is to give you a few pros from this system, as well as a couple of things that I think can be improved on. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. Shimbol have done a great job at packing this system full of features that I believe will help somebody new to wireless transmitters. The first of those being easy connectivity. Whenever you power the system on, the transmitter and receiver automatically connect to each other. Now, they do offer other channels that you can switch to in case there is some interference, but right off the bat, all you have to do to get these things working is turn them on and plug the HDMIs into your camera, and you're good to go. The second feature that they advertise is a 1,000 foot range. Now, in full transparency, I did not test the range of this wireless system to the fullest extent. I don't see myself needing 1,000 feet of wireless transmission for video, at least not for the situations that I typically shoot in. I will say within the ranges that I do work, and I'm gonna say that's typically within 50 to 100 feet max, I have had zero issues with the transmission of this system. The displays of the transmitter and receiver are both easy to read and well lit. The construction of the transmitter and receiver both feel very durable to me, and I don't think that they would break with, the normal beating and banging of day-to-day operations. And the last feature that I think is very useful with this system is app controllability and monitoring with an iPad or an iPhone. Simply download the Shimbol app and scan a QR code, and you are connected to be able to use your phone or your iPad as a separate external monitor. So how do you actually power this system? Well, Shimbol did a very good job at using a common battery type for the transmitter and receiver, and that is the traditional Sony NPF battery, which is great for me. I have an abundance of those in all different sizes. From the small NPF, I was able to get no less than 4 hours of transmission, and that's only going to increase as you add a bigger NPF battery. I was actually pleasantly surprised by this because I figured they would be a little more power hungry since they're sending a wireless signal non-stop whenever you're shooting. So good job, Shimbol, on the battery life with this system. What are the actual use cases for a wireless transmission system like this? Well, as I mentioned earlier in the video, for me specifically, I've been using these for corporate interviews and testimonials. I've been using them here on YouTube for Talking Head and for our new podcast that we just started, which has been awesome to be able to monitor the podcast while I'm shooting because my camera typically stays on the far end of the table opposite from Jared. And if you want to see that podcast, I'm going to put the link down in the description below. Would love it if you check that out. But this system is useful for anyone who is needing to send wireless transmission to an external monitor, whether that be for someone pulling focus for you, if you're on a set and you want to set up a video village for your client so that they're not over your shoulder watching the camera, you can give them a monitor and you can send a wireless signal to them. Very useful, especially in corporate and commercial workflows. So as far as price goes, the ZO1000 right now on B&H can be had for about $500. When compared to some of its competition, it's actually very affordable. I know some of your other options are anywhere between $750 all the way up to $2,500. With that lower price in mind, you do lose a couple of features. Number one being the transmission. So the transmission is a 1080p signal versus 4K like a lot of the other competition do. However, you're paying double the amount just to have a 4K transmission. I personally don't find any value in 4K transmission because my monitor, the Atmos Shinobi, only displays in 1080p anyways. So I believe that $500 price point is very attractive, especially considering you get the 1,000 foot range and you get the app control through your iPad or iPhone. Before we wrap, I do want to talk about a couple of things that I think Shimbol could improve on this system. Number one, the connectivity when firing up is a little slower than I personally would like, especially if you're in a situation where you're trying to get an interview going and you're waiting on your transmitters to fire up. They typically take about 30 to 45 seconds to power on and link together and finally start displaying your wireless transmission. Not the end of the world, just something to prepare for whenever you are setting up. The second thing that I believe could be improved upon is the wireless app. Now, the app is great for monitoring. It does offer features like focus peaking and zebras. However, at this current time, I can't get the app to display a LUT. So I can't build in a custom LUT to the app. Maybe Shimbol can help me out on this, but I can't display any of my custom LUTs to the app for monitoring purposes. I either have to monitor on my iPad in log or just a standard Rec 709 conversion to the iPad. Again, not the end of the world, and it is a useful tool, especially if you're trying to walk around and monitor on the fly. But I would like to have the ability to build in a LUT. That way I could hand an iPad to a client and have them monitor what we're monitoring as we're shooting. The last thing that I believe could be improved upon is the transmission when using a monitoring LUT. And when I say monitoring LUT, I mean a custom LUT. With Rec 709, there is no breakup in the transmission. However, whenever I use one of my custom LUTs, like my Kodak 2383 emulation, I start seeing a little bit of breakup in the wireless video feed. And what I mean by that, there's no transmission issue, but the colors start breaking up and getting a little wonky whenever I'm using my 2383 LUT. Not the end of the world, but I do believe that that can be improved upon in the future. With all that being said, I believe this system is very powerful for somebody wanting to step into a wireless transmission workflow without dropping $1,000 to $2,500 for other wireless systems out there like DJI, Teradek, even the Holy Land systems. I believe that Shimbol have found a great price point for entry-level wireless transmission and for wireless monitoring. It's not without its shortcomings. However, this is a tool that will stay in my kit for the foreseeable future because I believe it's helpful to me. But I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about the Shimbol wireless transmission system? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are there any other options out there that you think are better at this price point? Would love to know those things down in the comments below. And as always, thank you for being a part of this channel. I love growing this community here on YouTube. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see you in the next.